afternoon, and welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm your host, Deidre Malone, and I am so glad to have two of these folks in our Carter Malone Network studio today. I have Dr. Barbara Farmer, who is a powerhouse. I was telling Mr. Bennie Cobb a little bit earlier. We know that her brother and her family have a studio, but Dr. Farmer's a powerhouse in her own right. So, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And so glad to have you here. And then, of course, Bennie Cobb. Bennie and I go way back. Bennie and I were candidates together. Bennie also trained me, my two sisters, and my mom on how to use a gun. And so, Bennie, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you.
Do you remember that, Bennie?
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about your mom because she don't play. But yeah,
she don't play. Mama don't play.
Mama don't play.
So, y'all, welcome to Dialogue with Deidre. I'm so excited to have you both in the studio, but to talk about what you have going on when it comes to trying to educate more people about gun safety in our community. Why don't you walk us through this new organization that you've put together here in Memphis?
So, my name is Bennie Cobb, and I've been a law enforcement officer, retired from the sheriff's office as a captain. I've done things in law enforcement that most people only dream about doing. So one of those things was I was a firearms instructor. I have 4 different firearms instructor certification, but I also grew up in her village in downtown Memphis, and oldest of 9 children of a single mother. We had guns. Everybody had a gun back then, but there wasn't much violence. Everybody just had a gun. Mm-hmm. Now we're in a situation where everybody has a gun, and there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of lack of education in dealing with guns. I have been a member of the NRA. Everybody has heard of the NRA. I've been a member of it.
National Rifle Association.
National Rifle Association. Millions of members nationwide. I got to doing some research, and I'll say this, I won't say his name because his family hadn't given me permission, but there was a firefighter. He passed on, really, really wonderful guy. We were talking to one day, and he told me about this National African American Gun Association and asked me to do some research, and I did, and I was blown away. The National African American Gun Association is the second largest gun association in the United States, behind the NRA. We boast nearly 50,000 members nationwide, 100 chapters, over 100 chapters. There's 7 chapters in Tennessee, and there's 2 in Memphis, and we are the newest chapter. When I got to doing some researching these gun association, gun clubs, I was blown away about how much community involvement that there is with these gun clubs. It's more than about shooting guns or possessing guns or owning guns. There's so many facets to it that we wanted to come in and create an organization, association that was people-friendly, that was open and invitational and friendly to everybody. We wanted to use our years of experience, and I have 4 certified instructors that work in my office. I have a training center. I have, when she gets to talking in a few minutes, Dr. Farmer has many certifications, has so much experience that we can bring to the gun club. We're not going to be just going out shooting guns and walking around with guns, even though that's our Second Amendment right. We're going to do a lot of community engagement, kids, gun safety for kids, self-defense. Those are some things that I specialize in, and those are some things that we've been doing all along. We're going to reach out to our community partners. There were some at the kickoff last night, and we're going to collaborate and coordinate some efforts to help reduce gun violence, to help educate African Americans and others to gun safety, gun usage, gun storage.
Well, Bennie, I'm going to have to stop you.
Go ahead.
You talked about the NRA and the National African American Gun Association, but you've not introduced your chapter yet.
Okay, so getting to that.
Okay.
Getting to that. This chapter, and it's not my chapter, it's the people's chapter.
Right.
And to get into that, the chapter is called 901 Brothers, Sisters, Keeper. Now, 901, of course, everybody know that's Memphis. Again, being inclusive, we wanted to say brother, sister, keeper. We're our brothers and sisters keeper. We are responsible. We want to feel like we're responsible. What affects one affects all of us. And so we are the 901 brothers and sister keeper. We looking for members, but we're also looking for partners.
Okay, and what could that partnership look like?
Well, the Malone Carter group, for example.
Malone group, yes.
We had a conversation with Memphis pal Craig Little yesterday. We had a conversation with the Raleigh Chicks that do a lot of stuff in Raleigh, backpack giveaways. Erica Sugarman, she don't mind me mentioning her name because she's out front. She's out front.
Commissioner Sugarman is something else too.
Yeah, she's out front.
Yes.
We have some politicians, and I understand don't want to cross the fence and make a commitment. She makes a commitment. She's out front in our gun safety class. Erica's come in and done her presentation, loved on all the kids, and just been that figure there. Judge Joe Brown's out front, our friend. He's come in and he's been a part of the gun safety for kids. So we're reaching out to our partners to say, let's collaborate. We're bringing years and years of experience from law enforcement, from gun safety, from gun education, gun training to the community. Now, very quickly, the news media asked me yesterday, so what can you say to the African-American people about carrying guns? 2A, Second Amendment right. But we're not viewed as people that should carry guns. Even me, with all of my training and all my certification, I always have my gun concealed because people are looking at me differently. But we want to educate. We want to dispel that stereotype that a black man with a gun is out to commit a crime.
Right.
We have professionals. We have professional politicians, lay people that are certified and trained. And we want to dispel that stereotype, and we want to bring everybody into the fold.
And so, Benny, to your point, my 82-year-old mother, she packs all the time. So if somebody on Miss Ann Carter Nelson, if you see her, you better understand. Yes, don't come at her. Okay.
Miss Ann, when you all came to class, I was so proud of her. But she said, "Can I bring my shotgun too?"
Meaning business.
Exactly.
Miss Ann mean business.
She's meaning business. So Dr. Farmer, talk to us about your role with this organization.
Certainly. My role in the organization is I come from the clergy perspective. Because people think of it, how does it, look for a clergy to support a gun association? Well, I'm not looking to support it in a violent way. But I want people to know that they have options. It doesn't matter what your background is or socioeconomic, background. All of that means nothing when it comes to your safety. That's right. You have the right to protect yourself. So that's my role here. And just as Captain Cobb, I'm a retired officer from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office.
I didn't know that.
I retired from the Special Victims Unit as a Special Victims Unit detective. And so I've seen violence on all levels. And so I feel that people have the right to know, and also, just as Captain Cobb said, we want especially children to know about the safety of guns, because guns don't kill people. People kill people.
That's right. I have to tell you, my husband bought me a revolver maybe 4 years ago for Christmas, and it's still in my closet. And my sons and my mother tell me all the time, you need to carry. Some of us are fearful, but that's the reason training and education is so important.
Certainly.
So I pull it out, I clean it, but I put it back in my closet. I'm going to have to do a better job of carrying, specifically in this environment, when anything can happen, right?
I got a phone call just 2 days ago, and I hadn't shared this with you yet, Captain Cobb. But a lady I've been trying for years to get her to come in, learn about guns. She's so deathly afraid of guns.
Yes.
She finally sent me a text, and she says, I don't know why, but I'm sitting here in the airport on my way home from Miami, and I thought to text you and let you know I'm no longer going to honor my fear. I'm going to step outside of my fear and I want to come to your gun class. And when I get home, I'm going to give you a call and we're going to discuss some dates. She says, because I'm ready. She says, I need to be able to protect myself. So I want to let you know we have a person coming in to have some personal training.
And it's interesting. I don't know if my is fear, and maybe it is, but, I should have faith over fear. But I come from a family of law enforcement. My father was a police officer. My uncle was a police officer. My baby brother was a police officer. So I was around it, and I saw it. And but I saw how careful they were with their firearms. But, they were out there to protect the community too. So what do you want that person out there that might be fearful to understand about how important it is to learn gun safety?
Certainly. I want people to know that their fear, like you said, they should, especially coming from a clergy, you should have faith over fear. And when we go back and people say, well, how does that relate to, your religious perspective and things like that? I said, even David in the Bible had a gun. His slingshot was his gun.
That's right.
It's just that he didn't have an automatic weapon at that time. He didn't have a SIG, or he didn't have a shotgun, or he didn't have an automatic rifle. But at that time, his slingshot was his protection against Goliath.
Right.
So come in and just, look at it. Look at the weapons, maybe start touching the weapons, or, because some people are afraid to just touch a weapon. Unless you put your finger in the, in the well and pull the trigger, it's not going to fire. Yeah. And so people need to come in and just be around the conversation. And whatever you think your fear may be, come in and let's have a conversation about it. Come to the range. Maybe you need to go in the range, put your headphones on and listen to the shots and get over the fear of that. We had a lady that was in there the first and last class we had, and it was her first time holding a weapon. And the first time she pulled the trigger and she heard the blast, she almost dropped the weapon. We said, you're fine. And once she got over, she's like, can I shoot some more? So come in and because we have a fear of things that we're not familiar with.
That's true. That's so true. And so Bennie, you've been in law enforcement a long time. What has it been like since you've been out of law enforcement now and you've been involved with training people to be, to be safe with their gun? Like, making sure that they understand how to use a gun. What has it been like to educate people?
Well, so when I was in law enforcement, I was honored to be one of the trainers for the police officer.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I got all of my certifications while I was in law enforcement. We trained deputies. I'm certified SWAT team police officers. I still do some of the same training. I'm still certified. That was as a profession. In this business, it's a whole different mindset because you don't have people that has to do this for their livelihood. You're having people that want to protect their families. You're having people that want to carry guns. When I run across young people with guns, I went to the barber shop and the young man said, Captain Cobb, we all strapped in here. Okay, so I'm strapped too. I said, it's all good. They said, no, we ain't trying to start no trouble. But the way it is in society, we rather get caught by the police with the gun than get caught on the street without it. Wow. And that resonated with me. So people have guns. They're going to continue to have guns. What we want to bring is the appropriate training about safety, about the laws that governs carrying guns, about safe storage, because we know that last year alone there were almost 200 children that were shot.
My goodness,
and had to go to, some of them died. So we want to provide different. There's nothing as retirees that we can do about the crime. There's Floyd Bond and Chief C.J. Davis. Right. They do what they can. But from our perspective, we want to dispel the stereotype. We want to provide the information, the training. One of the things that I want to say that Ms. Farmer didn't mention, almost 50% of the members in this association is females.
Oh, really?
That's why I recruited her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I recruited her. Her official title is the female recruiter.
I love it.
So almost 50%. Now, having said that, over 90% of my clientele is females.
Well, we want to learn how to be able to protect ourselves.
I have doing 8 private one-on-one training right now. This is not just African American. I have 2 African American females that I'm working with, and 6 Caucasians. So, and when they called me and said, we want to be trained by the best, that makes my chest go out.
Oh, yeah.
Makes my head swell up just a little bit bigger. But people are recognizing, number one, that we're good at what we do.
Exactly.
We're taking those skills and taking it to the community. We could just do what we do and not even try to be inclusive. We want to be inclusive because we're African Americans. Somebody on Channel 5 network, we did a story with Channel 5 yesterday, and on the digital, somebody said, why they call it African American? Must be Democrat, must be black.
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody's included.
Yes, everybody.
LGBTQ.
Right.
The working class person, the clergy, the secretaries, doctors, everybody's inclusive. And the young people, of course, you can carry a gun at 18 years old.
Certainly.
Right.
That's scary.
You can get a license at 18-year-old.
Right.
You can be permitless carry at 18-year-old, but you don't have the training and understanding of why you have that gun and the responsibility that goes along with it. So we're having this this conversation, inviting people to have the conversation, as she said. There was a bill in the legislature this past session that said we want to allow 18-year-olds to carry semi-automatic rifles,
Yes.
shotguns, long guns without a permit.
I remember that.
That failed, but it's coming back.
Yes.
It's coming back. Now,
coming back.
you can already do that, but it can't be loaded.
Certainly.
Now there's conversation about walking around Walmart with a loaded AR-15, a loaded shotgun. That's anxiety for a lot of people. It's anxiety for me.
Me too.
And what we want to do as much as we can to bring in as many people as we can to give them the proper training and understanding of dealing with guns safely, responsibly, and as responsible citizens.
Quick question, and I know this doesn't have anything to do with this, but I think it might have been like a few years back when the state legislature determined you don't have to have a license to carry. So any and everybody can carry at this point. Do you think that that's had an effect on specifically West Tennessee and our crime?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have some friends in the Senate here, and they're trying to get that repealed for West Tennessee and Nashville, Davidson County, and Shelby County. I say to her, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we want to take advantage of the skills that we have. That's her job. That's her job. And I wish her well. She's a good friend of mine.
Right.
But while she's fighting her fight and doing what she does, we're going to continue to do what we do. Yeah, it has an effect on the crime. I have relatives in my family. I have relatives that have guns. Shouldn't have a water gun, and I know this. But they have them because they can.
Right.
They have the sad part about the law is this. Used to be if you only had a handgun permit, you had a gun, the police could stop you and actually see your handgun permit. Now, in difference to the law enforcement efforts, the police can see you walking down the street with a gun hanging out your pocket. They can't stop you and question you unless you commit a crime.
Right.
So this is what we're facing. This is what we're dealing with. We don't control this. What we control and what we try to do is put as much information to get as many people in to give them the information that we have.
I think that if the law even stated you have an open carry law, but you still have to have training, that would go a long way.
Absolutely.
You know, and be able to provide proof that you've had training, that would make a lot more sense than you can just go buy a gun and you don't know how to.
Certainly.
You're not trained to use it.
To that point, South Carolina just did that.
They did.
South Carolina just did that, and I passed the information on to the people that I know that's in power here.
Right.
A lot of times we're afraid, even though we're in power, we're afraid to challenge the power.
That's the reason they're there.
Certainly.
Okay. Deidre, behave now.
Okay.
Exactly.
So South Carolina governor said, yes, you can open carry. But if the police stop you, you better be able to show proof that you've been through some kind of training.
That's right.
Yeah, and so that's what, and so we're asking, and I'm asking, I'm not putting this on anybody but me, the people that I know to say, well, you got money. The government is actually paying for this in South Carolina.
Oh,
they're paying for it.
And we can afford to pay more in Tennessee.
So have training, put training out there, make it available, make it part of the ordinances that if you carry a gun, show proof that you have had some kind of training.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because I think the public just want basically to make it make sense.
Yes.
Because right now it does not make sense to people what's going on. You have an 18-year-old that can't drink, can't buy alcohol.
Can't buy,
but
some
you can
Jack
buy
Daniels.
a weapon.
Exactly. That doesn't make any sense.
Make it make sense. So it doesn't. Yeah.
I remember when the city of Memphis was announcing that Chief Davis was going to be the new chief of police. Ursula Madden, who was the chief information officer at the time, called me and asked me to interview her, and that's how it was announced that it was Chief Davis. And I remember they didn't monitor the questions or ask me to share the questions. I could just ask her what I wanted. And that was during the time that new law dropped. And I asked her about that, and she was like, that doesn't make any sense. It can hurt us. And so I'm glad to see, that, Dr. Farmer, Bennie, that you all have been working really hard in our community to try and educate people on what makes sense is to be trained how to use a firearm, right? So if somebody wants to be a member of the organization, what do they have to do?
So, very briefly, can I go over the six principles?
Please do. So we have time.
We didn't want to make it hard. We didn't want to make it difficult. We wanted to make it so everybody could have an understanding of what we are going for. So starting on this side, mentoring, we've been doing that. Yeah. We've had a number of gun safety classes. Dr. Farmer has been a guest speaker. Judge Joe Brown has been a guest speaker. Erica Sugarman, and this is coming out of my pocket. There's no, we bring them in, give them candy and cookies and all the sweets, but we talk to them about gun safety, and my team talk to them, and we take them back and we let them shoot a little 22. All 5 of my grandkids have guns. Us older people, we remember when grandma and grandpa had guns in the house, and there wasn't all this violence. And so we're educating them, and we make them sign a pledge, and they raise their hand, and they pledge not to play with guns, and so we are mentoring already, and this is what we're doing. Community engagement, we plan on having picnics and different things to bring the community in. It's not just about guns, even though we're a gun club. Kids gun safety. One of the state entities gave me 1,000 gun locks. 1,000 gun locks. Now, and we have a gun lock program here, and I say this, I think it's ridiculous that you have to go get it at a specific place. I say put them all at the fire station or the library and just go pick up one.
Certainly.
Yeah, but you have to go through Jump Hoop, send a stamp and address envelope, and we'll send you one. That ain't on me, that's on somebody else. Make it accessible to where you can go get the gun lock. On this side here, self-defense, I believe that we have a right to defend ourselves. As a matter of fact, the former FBI director, James Comey, said, it is not the police job to protect you. It's your job to protect you and your family. I recognize this. So we have self-defense class. We have free self-defense classes for women. Absolutely free. Absolutely free. Jam-packed. They're jam-packed. We have to turn people away because we can only handle so many. But we do gun safety for kids and self-defense class for women at least once a month. This is all community engagement. Tactical training. This is, when we think of tactical, we think of SWAT team stuff. I was on the SWAT team. But we think mentally, tactically. If somebody's doing a running gun battle, you've trained yourself, and I tell my grandkids, if somebody's running up and down the street shooting, babies, get out of those seat belts and get on the floor. I'm going to put my car in gear in the middle of the expressway and get down because bullets are flying everywhere. You have a plan that you want to execute in case you are caught up in the middle of a gunfight. And then safe storage. My friends in the legislature and the Senate, they were rightfully so asking for responsible gun laws. So what the governor and some of the other folks in the House and the Senate came up with was safe storage. It's a Band-Aid. But all that is putting a gun lock, a gun safe, those type things to keep people from getting their hands on them. We're doing that. We're talking about safe storage. We are talking about the gun locks and the gun safe. In very short time, in Tennessee, all kids K through 12 are going to be required to go through gun safety training in school.
Is that the law? Or
That's the law.
Yes.
That's the law. They're going to K through 12, and every year, so a K person would do their level at kindergarten. First grade, they go to the next level of training, second grade, and on up to 12th grade.
Was that born out of the Covenant
It
shooting?
was. It was.
Okay, in
It was.
Nashville,
It
yeah.
was. So those are our principles that we are pushing forward with, and we are looking for members. But we're not only looking for people to sign up; we're looking for people to engage.
Certainly.
So how can they engage?
Go ahead. Okay, so you can. My phone number is 901-649-8539. My website is bennie.cobb@yahoo.com. We're creating a separate. We're creating a Facebook page right now. We're creating a separate social media, a separate phone number. You can sign up at NAAGA.co, not .com, .co. You can go on and sign up. And when you look into the association, look for Tennessee. When you pull up Tennessee, you will see the 901 Brothers and Sister chapter.
That's awesome. Okay, so now I've got to ask you some fun questions because that's how I end my show. Dr. Farmer, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, wow. My favorite movie. Does it have to be a movie or a sitcom?
It could be a sitcom.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it was the Cosby Show. I was not gonna miss the Cosby Show. I didn't care what was going on. The world needed to shut down so I could watch the Cosby Show.
love it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
What about you, Benny?
So I teach college. I'm an instructor, and I just walk into the room and I'm to serve with love all over the place. Send the portier to serve with love. That's my teaching style.
I love it. Okay, so Benny, who is your favorite musical artist?
So I was really, really angry at Bobby Brown when he married Whitney. I thought Whitney was mine. So I have to say, Whitney.
Whitney
I don't know
Houston.
any of the new school people, but Whitney was it for me.
What about you, Dr. Farmer?
I have to.
Okay.
As far as singing, Michelle Farrell.
Michelle Farrell.
Yes, Michelle Farrell. And as far as entertainment, Janet Jackson.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
What have you done for me
Revolution.
lately?
What have you done for me lately? Yes, you know.
Revolution.
So, yes.
Okay, if my last question is, if you had to go somewhere for a weekend, just a weekend trip, what's your favorite spot?
So I have a place in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I sneak.
Ooh,
My
he
family,
has
they
a
get so mad
Place
at me.
in Hot Springs.
They don't know I be gone. So that's my rejuvenation.
Okay.
Now, when I want to live a life, I hop on the train and go down to New Orleans. So those are my two places. And I have a place in New Orleans also. But my family don't know that.
They gonna know now.
They know now, right?
Dr. Farmer, what's yours?
I would have to say Biloxi when it's just a quick getaway, just down the road, and they have the beach, and and even on your photos they don't know where you are because they just see the sand.
Yeah.
People think exotic,
Right.
island and things like that. But when I have to co-partner with my husband on a trip, it's gonna be New Orleans.
New Orleans, there you go.
Yes, this is so fun. Well, I'm so glad. Look, you all can come back to Dialogue with Deidre anytime. Come on the show, talk about the events that you have going on. Carter Malone Group will definitely be a partner because this is important work, and we want to make sure that our community is educated on gun safety.
Thank you.
And being, especially our children. I think that's so important. And then women, I'm just so proud of us
Yes.
for
we are.
coming up and going to class and learning how to use that gun safely.
Safely, right.
And if the women want to just directly, contact me because
Yes.
some DM me. I'm on Facebook, Barbara Farmer Tolbert. Send me those DMs. They've already been doing it. Keep doing it. Invite somebody else. Bring 10 more. So just come on in.
I might just bring my girl crew.
Yeah.
I've already been to training,
Yeah.
but I needs to refresh her.
Yeah.
So I might bring my sister and my girl crew because we need some more education. So
We would do gun safety and self-defense in the same class for you guys.
really,
Because there's a less than lethal. You don't have to shoot everybody. Some people you can deal with in less than lethal way. So we do less than lethal.
and see, as bad as I think I am, I really do need self-defense.
Yeah.
Benny, Barbara, thank you so much for
You're
coming on
welcome. Thank
Dialogue
you.
with Deidre. And this has been an excellent show. And so you know now how to reach Bennie Cobb and Dr. Barbara Farmer. They can tell you more about the organization. And if you want to partner with them, please reach out because the Carter Malone Group is going to do the same. We're gonna partner with them. So
Thank you.
thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being with us today. And thank you so much for watching Dialogue with Deidre.
Thank you.